Thank you, dear viewers, for joining us at those news on Equinoxe Television, live from my headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. I am Babler Jonathan. 145 cases of cholera detected and reported in the littoral regional capital, Douala, and efforts are now being stepped up in view of stopping the spread of cholera in the city of Douala and other parts of the littoral region of the Republic of Cameroon. Also in this newscast, we're going to tell you the state of the academic atmosphere in the Bakassi Peninsula, crisis-stricken southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. Few weeks to the back to school, or the start of the 2022-2023 academic year. We'll also talk about efforts being made in charge to restore peace and normalcy across the country. The national dialogue started today. We begin this news with political news on the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, CRM political party, whose national president was in the West Regional Chief Town, Bafoussam. Maurice Kamto has stormed Bafoussam, and hundreds of militants, thousands of militants converge to listen to the national president of the CRM political party, and there is an ongoing debate on the party's efforts to step up its activities and revive the party across the West region and the Republic of Cameroon as a whole. This debate brought to the table contradictory and divergent and of course convergent views in the program. Draw the response on Equinoxe Television at the weekend. And Innocent has more.
Authorizing an opposition political party like the CRM in Bafoussam to organize a political rally took many by surprise because the Yaoundé regime has been regarded as repressive. On the program Draw the Response on Equinoxe Television, a citizen communicator, Natacha Fadimatu Bengono, said, any political party that is Republican, responsible and peaceful will never be denied authorization, and vice versa. For the CRM, the meeting in Bafoussam Saturday is a historic event.
L'événement de Bafoussam hier est historique.
CRM's Pierre-Emmanuel Bignam thinks it is historic because the massive turnout indicated that the West region is behind Professor Maurice Kamto. Contrary to a statement from the Biya government, the people of the West region are against the CRM president.
Nous avons la confirmation que l'Ouest n'a pas tourné le dos à Maurice Kamto, mais l'Ouest a plutôt tourné les reins à Maurice Kamto.
According to the CPDM communicator, the massive turnout to hail Professor Maurice Kamto is a non-event to President Paul Biya's party. Pierre-Emmanuel Bignam adds the event was historic in the sense that it introduced an electronic electoral system which enhanced transparency in the electoral process, voids of infighting during renewal of the party's basic organs. A system he thinks should be copied by the ruling CPDM party for advanced democracy and transparent elections come 2025.
Il s'agit juste d'une question de volonté politique.
Shockingly, the CPDM panelist says there is nothing good for the CPDM party to adopt from the CRM. That the CRM election in the West region to renew the party's basic organs was marked by infighting and division amongst militants. Thus, no need to give the CPDM lesson, but to adopt a different strategy for its peaceful election.
Tant qu'il y a émulation, tant qu'il y a compétition, attendez-vous qu'il y ait de débordement.
Reacting to our statement, UPC's Professor Jean Bahebek says,
un bon gouvernement, un bon parti politique au pouvoir.
A good political party in power must associate with good opposition political parties for great achievements. He salutes Professor Maurice Kamto for his continuous struggle to better shape situations in his party and Cameroon as a whole.
Innocent as a reporting the security and defense forces stepping up the fight against illegal business in the Republic of Cameroon. The elements of the Rapid Intervention Battalion intercepted and seized a huge consignment of illegally imported plastic bags in Equinoxe, in the southwest region of the country. There is Jato reports.
Abolua Timothy, who was described as a devoted, patriotic and someone who has consistently demonstrated true love for fatherland, is today being replaced as the divisional officer for Ekondo Titi subdivision of the Ndian division in the southwest region of Cameroon. But he is not here to hand over. This is where he was supposed to sit, now empty.
Observe a minute of silence.
He was gruesomely killed by the explosion of an improvised explosive device led by armed separatist fighters last March 2nd, 2022, while on an official assignment to Bikora, a village in the Ekondo Titi subdivision. Though Abolua Timothy is not here, but his memories are with everyone at this Ekondo Titi ceremonial grandstand, who came for the installation of the newly appointed divisional officer for the said subdivision. Officiating the installation ceremony, Gilbert Gibai Baldena, the senior divisional officer for Ndian division, reminded the newly appointed divisional officer for Ekondo Titi subdivision, Fu Francis Mo, of the stakes, and called on all the living forces of Ekondo Titi subdivision to collaborate with their new divisional officer.
I therefore call on the mayor, the forces of defense and security, the clergy, leaders of political parties, traditional rulers and quarterheads, elite, business operators, and the entire population to give maximum collaboration to the new divisional officer.
Fu Francis Mo was born in 1971 in Fungom subdivision, Menchum division in the northwest region of Cameroon, and before his appointment as the divisional officer for Ekondo Titi subdivision, Fu Francis Mo was the second assistant to the senior divisional officer for Ndian division.
Erijato rather reporting on the installation of the new divisional officer of Ekondo Titi in the southwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. It is one of the areas badly affected by the crisis. It's his predecessor, the predecessor of the new divisional officer, was killed in an ambush by separatist fighters. And now we come back to the seizure of an important or huge consignment of plastic bags illegally imported into the country by elements of the Rapid Intervention Battalion in Equinoxe.
Seized by the elite unit of the Cameroon Armed Forces, the Rapid Intervention Battalion B, here at Equinoxe, West Coast Subdivision in Fako Division of the Southwest region. These 5,200,000 plastics were heading into the environment, said Ekwadi Songe. The Southwest Regional Delegate of Environment explains why the plastics were intercepted.
Those plastics are seized because they're motorized. They are not from a Cameroonian company, and we don't know the formulation, we don't know the thickness, and we don't know where they are coming from.
To this authority, this consignment was of great danger to the environment because of its non-biodegradability.
Those plastics, you can discover that we have more than 5 million tin plastic. Those plastics are very dangerous, first of all, for the environment. Can you imagine if you put those plastics in the town, they will litter the whole towns.
And on the health note, plastics like these ones are a great source of illnesses.
And you know that sometimes now people are using plastic to put food, hot food. Plastic are very dangerous for when it comes to food. That's why you can now experience many cancers in our hospitals.
Seized from the waters to the gendarmerie station at Equinoxe, where the plastics were destroyed and later transported to this factory for recycling. One thing stood tall: supervision was everything. The aim is to be sure that any plastic that leaves this recycling center in Limbe meets up with the Cameroon government required standards. which must be more than 61 microns in thickness.
145 cases of cholera reported in the littoral region of the Republic of Cameroon, and health authorities are now stepping up measures and actions to stop the spread of cholera in the country's economic capital Douala and across the littoral region. Details with Immaculate Fogwe.
Cholera cases have been multiplying in the littoral region for the past weeks. The region now counts 145 new infected cases. Localities like Bonasama, Bangé, Nilong, Makepe Misoke, New Belandedo are hardest hit by the epidemic. Health experts give reasons for the rise of cholera cases in the city of Douala. Unhygienic living conditions, poor waste disposal and ignorance about the disease are the major reasons why it is spreading rapidly. The population needs to empty their septic tanks because this is one of the contamination sources. Lots of people equally forget to wash their hands after leaving the toilet. A mass vaccination campaign has been launched in several neighborhoods in order to tackle the epidemiological situation. I came to vaccinate my child, but I was asked to equally get vaccinated against cholera, and I accepted. Experts warn against the explosion of cholera cases in the months ahead if hygiene measures are not respected. They equally re-echoed the importance of rushing suspected cases to health centers as soon as they notice any signs and symptoms.
Now to Lum in the Mongo Division, littoral region of the Republic of Cameroon. Glory Mala tells us and shows us how GCE candidates, or better still candidates of the General Certificate of Education GC Ordinary and Advanced levels, celebrated their results, or better still their success in the last session of the GCE after the publication of results. Her report.
Minutes after the release of the GCE results, candidates console their success via mobile phones. Successful ones jumped in excitement.
It was not easy, so much stress. We could not sleep every day. Finally, the result is out. I'm very happy. My family are very, very proud of me. So
I'm very grateful because I'm having 6 papers. All the 6 I'm having 8 grades. I'm very, very grateful. That's why to see you are debating the mark. I want to thank my parents, God, for everything.
In the town of Melong, the Mongo division of the littoral region, parents and guardians joined their children to celebrate. After 9 months of hard work, the students are now certain for an additional certificate. Meanwhile, greater challenges lies ahead as they step into new adventures.
The students in Melong, Lum and other areas of the Mongo division and across the Republic of Cameroon are now knocking the doors of higher institutions of learning in the country. Now we're going to talk about the fight against the increasing cost of living in the Republic of Cameroon, and the Bank of Central African States is now proposing some steps that should be taken by governments to fight this problem of increasing cost of living, making life much more difficult for many inhabitants of the different countries, especially those or the poor and low income earners living below the poverty line. Annabella Hasmo.
According to the Bank of Central African States, BAC, checking negative effects and threats of price hikes on foodstuffs and goods of basic necessities can only be made possible by increasing the purchasing power of the population and not by further causing inflation. An increase in the purchasing power, according to BAC, can also be feasible if subventions are given to CEMAC member countries or to local enterprises. In its recent publication, the Bank of Central African States insists that putting in place dispositions for price control in this context will only lead to corruption and subsequently reduce the purchasing power further. Reducing taxes on imported agricultural products will as well go a long way at increasing the living standards of CEMAC member countries. A structural reform to boost domestic agricultural production is imperative at the moment, since demand of foodstuff is higher than supply. At a time when standards of living is very high, stabilizing prices of basic goods, according to BEAC, is a must, even if it seems to be a short-term solution.
Now in news out of the Republic of Cameroon, members of the transitional government in the Republic of Chad and other stakeholders are now meeting in a national dialogue to discuss the peace, the restoration of peace in that African country that's been unstable as a result of infighting within members of the government and rebel groups in that African country, and they are now discussing in a national dialogue on how to restore peace in Chad. And this is coming like an example to many other African countries, including Cameroon, where there are security tensions in the country, and the transitional government in Chad, the rebel leaders and other stakeholders, opposition leaders, are now meeting to discuss a peace after a peace deal was signed between the transitional government authorities, or the transitional government, and rebel leaders in Qatar recently. And now a national dialogue is taking place. It started today. That's it for the first part of this newscast. Talking Point is up next. And we are receiving today the mayor of Kombo Abedimo in the southwest region of Cameroon. Is also the Southwest Regional Bureau President of the United Cities and Councils. Thank you for joining us today, sir. First of all, tell us what is the state of the atmosphere, the academic atmosphere, to be very specific, in the Indian division. Few weeks to the start of the 2022-2023 academic year.
Yes, Mr. Babila Jonathan, I know that so many Cameroonians are worried about first outing. I know there are people who want to make great problems where there are no problems. It should be noted that Bakassi is relatively calm and will not want any person to use the peninsula as a springboard to create any confusion among the teachers from the area and the government. I am using the opportunity to inform every Cameroonian that school resumption will effectively take place in the Bakassi Peninsula from the 5th of September 2022. I call on our teachers to take their...
Due to some technical issues affecting the sound quality, we'll be coming back to this in greater details in our subsequent news editions. The mayor of Kombo Abedimo in the Bakassi Peninsula southwest region of Cameroon, Kombo Abedimo, and he is the President of the Southwest Regional Bureau President of the United Cities and Councils. Will be coming back to him with the discussion on the state of the academic state of the Bakassi Peninsula ahead of the 2022-2023 academic year in our subsequent news editions. Thank you for staying with us.
Equinoxe Télévision, au-delà de l'image, nous rendons compte.